Everyone, welcome back to my channel. Yeah, today let's discuss the LTI Mindtree round 1 and round 2 technical interview questions. Okay, so these are the set of Java interview questions. Uh, Initially, they ask the difference between the equal operator and equals method, and then the next question they asked like explain the hoops concepts with real-time example, and what is constructor, difference between abstract class and interface, what is exception handling, what is the difference between throw and throws, what happens in try catch finally blocks, and what can prevent finally block from executing, and difference between array list and linked list, what is collections framework. Okay, so the next questions goes on the set of Java programs like reverse a string without using any inbuilt methods, find duplicate characters in a string, and write a program for palindrome, swap two numbers without using third variable, write a Fibonacci series program, difference between hash map and hash table, why string is immutable in Java. Okay, so the next set of interview questions are based on Selenium. The questions goes like explain your automation framework architecture, write dynamic XPath for login button, difference between implicit wait and explicit wait, what is tail element exception, how do you handle multiple windows, how to handle drop downs, how to capture screenshots, what is page object model, explain the test-ng annotations, what's the difference between assert and verify, how do you run failed test cases, what is parallel execution, and how do you handle synchronization issues, explain data provider in testng, how do you execute test from testng.xml, explain the differences between selenium 3 and selenium 4, how do you handle frames and alerts. Okay, the next set of interview questions are based on playwright. What's the difference between selenium and playwright, why playwright is faster, what are browser contexts, what is the difference between locator and XPath, how do you handle auto waits, explain the playwright fixtures, how to run tests in parallel, how to capture trace and video, explain page object model in playwright, difference between locator and page. Okay, and page methods. What sorry The next set of interview questions are based on API testing and rest assured. Okay, different the questions goes like the difference between path parameter and query parameter, what's the status code differences between 200, 201, 400, 401, 404, and 500, what is the difference between post and put, what happens if post API is called with get method, if API works in postman but not in rest assured, what will you check, and how do you validate the response, JSON response, difference between authorization and authentication, how do you send headers in rest assured, what is OAuth, how do you validate response time, how do you perform schema validation. Okay, the next set of interview questions are based on SQL. Here they asked about the difference between delete, drop, and truncate. What is primary key and foreign key? What's the difference between where and having? Write query to fetch second highest salary. Okay. The next set of interview questions are the differences between inner join and left join. What is normalization? Write a query to remove the duplicate records. What's the difference between union and union all? And write a query to fetch the employee count department wise. Okay, guys, effective interview ready answers for all the above interview questions. And if you are looking for end-to-end complete automation and full stack QA automation testing interview questions asked in MNCs and product based companies, along with detailed answers for your next upcoming QA interviews, have compiled 10,000 plus real-time genuine interview questions and answers covering web automation, that's a Selenium and Playwright, API automation, that's rest assured and PyTest and Playwright APIs, mobile automation and mobile testing, performance testing, manual testing, DevOps concepts, and AI driven topics, plus topic wise notes and company specific interview questions along with detailed answers which are based off service based, product based startups and mid-sized companies. So please do check out for the link in the given description. It has been crafted after taking 3,500 plus interviews, and it has interview questions and answers varies from 0 to 15 plus years of experience, so you can confidently face interviews and you can confidently work in real time projects. Okay, thank you so much for watching my video. All the best for your upcoming interview.